Cancer turned my family's lives upside down. Cancer robbed my family of things that my children should never be without. You hear of stories, you read people's sagas, you follow blogs, and you never once think at 39 years old you are going to be that family someday.
I was diagnosed very young, so I felt like I was in the prime of my life where I didn't think anything would go wrong at this time. It was more like I was building my life, and all of a sudden, boom, you get hit with a cancer diagnosis, and it's like everything stops.
And I'm reading, and it says, consistent with pancreatic head adenocarcinoma. That's it. I went downstairs, and Judy said, well, what does it say? I said, it says I have pancreatic cancer.
Then just Stomp The Monster to help and enlighten.
And what's your name?
Anybody?
And what did you have?
Cancer.
Yeah, you had neuroblastoma? And you're good now? Yeah. Does it still make you sad to talk about it? Huh? Yes or no? Yeah, it's okay. Some days she's okay to talk, and some days she's just sad. She was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma in August of 2013, and it's been a long, long battle.
When I first noticed some symptoms, I was training, and the first noticeable part was during a bike training ride, a long one. I basically I was having trouble breathing, and at that point I decided it was time to go to a doctor, at least find out what was going on.
By the time I went to the doctor, she knew just by looking, because I had breast cancer, so just by looking at my breast, they knew. She knew right away.
The CAT scan showed a mass. A week later, I was in a biopsy after an MRI and was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
And he's like, there's a tumor in your chest. And at that point, I just kind of heard ringing in my ears, and I put my head down, and I'm like, this can't be.
Unfortunately, Darren did lose his battle to leukemia after relapsing almost a year later from diagnosis. A friend was researching resources on the internet to see how my family could be helped financially, emotionally, different support networks to help my family and I get through this battle, and she came across Stomp the Monster.
So I'm an oncology social worker. I've been a social worker for a long time, and I work for the Carol G. Simon Cancer Center. And I received a phone call one day about 6 years ago from a woman by the name of Andy, and she was very enthusiastic, and she was telling me all about this organization called Stomp the Monster.
3-4 years ago, Judy got an email from Stomp the Monster saying, we're looking for ice cream scoopers at St. Peter's Hospital to give out ice cream every other week or so. I almost jokingly say we became the most popular people in the hospital when we showed up, ring the bell in pediatrics, and they say yes. I said, it's ice cream time, and it's yay, welcome, great, we're wondering when you were going to come.
I've met great women through Facebook from Stomp the Monster, where you can shoot out an email, how are you? And if they say they're having a bad day, you can easily relate. I've also become friendly with people from Stomp the Monster whose lives have moved on and they found happiness. And it's nice to read those stories too.
The patients that we dished out the ice cream to had smiles. We chatted with them. Some of them even wanted to know if they could give us a check for the organization, not for the ice cream. We managed to tell them it was free unless they had more than 2 flavors at a time.
They really, really came at a time when I needed them the most.
They said, okay, we understand your situation. Your child has cancer. We are here for you. What can we do?
Seth would hear people's stories when he was in treatment, chemotherapy, and problems with transportation, problems paying bills, and so they thought they had to do something.
We've given out over $1.5 million in stomps directly to families. What we're doing is allowing them to focus on their disease and the family to focus on that family member's disease instead of their broken down car.
I had a lot of complications. I had to stop working again for over a month.
And they were there instantly. I mean, I didn't have to jump through hoops or anything.
Gives in ways that I've not heard any other organization give.
Generous with their time, generous with their effort, generous with their commitment to the family.
A ride to the doctor, a babysitter, maybe going out and helping with shopping.
For Hanukkah, they choose several families every year.
And the food cards, though, is what I remember the most because I have 3 kids. I have 2 teenage boys. They eat.
I emailed Stomp The Monster and said, what's the ballpark figure? And she said, send us what your kids want. And they bought my kids every item on their list.
They're there when other agencies or other programs just can't fill that need.
I implore people to donate, to support, to get the message out.
Any way that you can give back is truly important. I was just talking to my brother about Stomp The Monster today, and the first thing he said to me was, well, how do I donate?
That's why it is important to help organizations like this, because these are small organizations. It's not like the big ones. These are people that they help people intimately. They know who they're helping. They can meet them. They know where the money is going.
We want to continue to grow because we can have a bigger impact.
What differentiates them for me is just how it started, and just such a grassroots kind of organization, and that it has continued.
Everybody had a smile on their face. And what better thing to do for people who could use smiles?
These issues and problems and monetary, emotionally, to have a lending ear, to realize that, you know what, you're not alone, and that you never have to do this alone, and that there are people who solely just give of themselves.
We all take life for granted. Darren would always say cancer doesn't discriminate. You could be the best person on this earth and still get cancer. He would always say that the debilitating disease was wearing him down, and he was so young and he did nothing to deserve it. So you never know if it's going to be you who's affected by cancer, which is why it's so important that if you can, to give.